Ahoy, my friends! Ahoy, me buckos! Hey, do you have a little room in your hammock tonight? Because there was a little water damage in the quarters. I don't know if I want to be sleeping in here tonight. So if I could just inch in there with you, would you mind? We'll talk about it later. It's the Gaming Galleon. I'm Captain Raz. You are very humble and very happy to be your host. Totally honored to be the guy who's lucky enough to stand here in his soggy quarters once a week and talk to you fine crewmen out there and crewwomen. We have quite an adventure today, an adventure like none other. It's actually nice. It's kind of a kickback week for us because I don't know how this happened, but somehow we got a bit of a sponsorship this week. And let me get into... How professional, huh? I just had it! Here it is. Received this letter in the mailbag one day. And this is kind of where things all start. Okay? You ready for this? First of all, let me tell you where we are. We're in Orlando, Florida. Outside of a very interesting looking building called the Imagineering Institute. And the Imagineering Institute is home to some of the most renowned professors and scientists in the scientific industry. Guys like Sir Nigel Channing, the studier of the Figment supernatural being. You've got Wayne Zaleski, the inventor of the shrink ray. You've got Professor Philip Brainard, the inventor of a chemist who invented flubber. A whole host of people who sit in this building and make things that are just beyond anything that you and I can imagine. Why are we sitting out such a strange place? Well, it's all about the game we're playing today. So let me get back to this letter that I received in the mailbag one day. Ahoy, matey! Hope things are going well. Enjoyed the show earlier, as always. Quick question. Would you by any chance have a copy of Harley's Humongous Adventure for the Super Nintendo in the ship's hold? My girlfriend and I were talking the other day, hello Lauren, and she mentioned that she loved an episode where you play, or she'd love to see an episode where you play that game, you being me. Apparently it was one of her favorites when she was younger. Let me know if you don't have Harley's Humongous Adventure. I might be able to pick up a copy if the price is right and ship it to you. I think it would definitely brighten her day. Salutations, Mr. Prawn. Well, that's why this is such an interesting adventure, because it's contracted. We've never done one of these before. Mr. Prawn was kind enough and generous enough to send us a copy of Harley's Humongous Adventure. So a game I'd never heard of before. I'd seen. I mean, if you've been around as long as I have, crawling around old video game stores, you've seen pretty much every box art out there. But this is the kind of one that a guy like me would probably pass right over, because it's a platformer. And platformers are a dime a dozen on the Super Nintendo. That's not to say they're bad. They're just plentiful. And I believe I've mentioned before that growing up during the era in the 90s, that was the late 80s, early 90s, that was the era of the platformer. So they were everywhere, all the time. And when you're looking at rental stores, which is how, you know, most kids like me at the time played these games or picked up these games every weekend, there was like a whole shelf of platformers. So it wasn't uncommon for you to pass over some. And you started to get to know companies. You'd look for companies like Sunsoft and Konami and Capcom and obviously Nintendo. And then you started to look for companies, or started to avoid some companies. One came to mind. It was High Tech Designs or something like that. It was like a heart with some pixels on it. Acclaim was always kind of hit or miss. LGN was pretty bad. Data East, good for the most part. You know, Tato, excellent. So when I saw Harley's Humongous Adventure way back in the day with a High-Tech Concepts, I believe. Is that right? They didn't make it, but High-Tech Expressions. With High-Tech Expressions on the label, this is one that I would usually pass over and not feel too bad about. So, thanks to Lauren and her diverse taste, we're going to be exploring Harley's Humongous Adventure this week outside of the Imagination Institute, where Wayne Szalinski, long ago, created his famous shrink ray that shrunk his children down to, about that size a long time ago. I brought us out here because, I felt like, how are we going to play a game like Harley's Humongous Adventure, a game about a hip scientist who shrinks himself down accidentally without being here at the Institute? I feel like this game really got a lot of inspiration from that movie. I'm not sure what came out first, but even Harley himself kind of looks like Rick Moranis if you squint his eyes. So, without further ado, we actually were able to pull a few strings and get Wayne Szalinski's shrink ray aimed right at the bow of the gaming Galleon. And once I give the signal, I'm told that we will shrink down to the molecular level. And from there, we'll move the rest of the voyage is about the size of a speck of dust. Okay, so you ready for this? I don't think we've ever done anything more crazy on the show or the ship than this. I hope there's a reverse ray. They've been working on this technology for over 20 years, so we're right where all the scientists are. They assured me that this is safe, and it happens. So put on your safety goggles, grab a hold of something. We're going to shrink down to the molecular level. Then we're going to play some Harley's Humongous Adventure for the SNES. We will come back and get into this booty segment that it is far from small. This is humongous, just for the record. We'll get into that later, though. We'll play a little more Harley, and then, of course, your questions, queries, concerns, and whatnots will be here in the bag that tells no tales. And for all you lagabouts who are in the mess hall, if you have anything you'd like to say, we can wrap with that as well. Okay, so let's get started. Grab onto something. I'm supposed to just say through my phone here. Let me give it a call. They gave me a special code here. 8787 pound. Are you ready? And in 3, 2, 1. Did it work? This says green. This says we're short. This says we're small. Well, it all looks the same. I guess that makes sense. Alright, whatever. Let's get to it. It's Harley's Humongous Adventure, courtesy of MisterPrawn and the lovely Lauren out there somewhere in the Silicon Seas. Let's hit that harp of transition. And by God, sail on to nostalgia. Alright, a little audio. Well, kind of. I paused it. Alright, here we go. I'm going to get my headphones on here. Okay. Alright. Oh, man. Hey, shout-outs to First Mate Bismuth. How about that tasty guitar, huh? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? So, what's gimmicky? What's different? What's out of place? Whoa, hello. With Harley, not much. the plot is basically Harley is a hip and happening inventor who really, in my opinion, looks a lot like Rick Moranis. And as he was experimenting one day on his shrink ray, oh, I forgot my audio, didn't I? I think I turned it off and then turned it back on. There we go, we've got our audio now. Sorry, it was my fault. He's like, where's my guitar? I don't hear any guitar. Don't worry, the guitar's coming. Alright. So basically, Harley, he creates this shrink ray, and then the thing overloads. And then all these kids attack him. Alright, it overloads and then explodes, leaving Harley in this very small, diminutive size. And it's his job to gather the parts of his shrink ray and try and get back to the land of like-sized people. And, you know, one thing I like about this game in particular and didn't know about was, you know, on the label it says high-tech concepts, high-tech, something like that, impressions. But the developer of this is Visual Concepts. And Visual Concepts made one game in particular that I really liked. They were doing this technology that nobody else really did, which was stop-motion claymation for these Super Nintendo games. Oh! Whoa, whoa, whoa! So you'll notice, oh my gosh! These monsters, they have like really googly eyes. They're the kind of monsters you would have seen in like Pee-wee's Playhouse. Give me that. Because they're all made by claymation. And I didn't know that about this game. As far as I knew, only Claymates and Clay Fighter did that. There's one of the parts to my shrink ray. Says you can see pretty basic stuff. I played this a couple times and oh, thanks a lot. Here's one of my favorites. Metal Slug, eat your heart out. And so this is basically Harley going around his house trying to gather up these pieces of this shrink ray so he can get himself back to regular size. And I mean, just looking at him, he's got the sunglasses, he's got the glasses on. You know, I don't know. To me, he just looks like Rick Moranis. When I started playing this, I was like, this has got to be inspired by Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Woo! So that's why I figured, well, you know, if we're just going to be bumming around playing a contracted game, we should go somewhere cool. Let's go to Orlando. Let's see some wacky scientists. Now, obviously, none of them could make it onto the ship. You know... Oh, I know you guys are used to the... You know, the crew. But the Galleon is a little intimidating for most people, especially if you're kind of like a mousy scientist. You know, some of our more haggard crew members can be a bit of a turn-off at first. But they'll all have good hearts. Oh, no! Okay, this is getting dangerous. Play it to win a checkpoint. Bells of the checkpoint. I like that. That was a nice touch. Those Legos, if you don't get them down, they will suffocate you. No! Alright. It's okay. We got a checkpoint. And I think that's, you know, like, you know, I was working things out with MisterPrawn. He's like, bro, I played, I took a look at, you know, he told me about Harley. He said, do you have it? I said, no. But it sounds like a fun adventure. You know, even though I didn't know what the game was. And I wasn't sure I was going to go in blind. He looked at a video, he got back to me, he's like, dude, I looked at that game. I don't know, man. Maybe there's something else you'd rather see. Because I don't know why she would be into that. Well, you got to think, Mr. Prawn, you got to think about nostalgia. That nostalgia that's in all of us. The rose-colored glasses that each of us seem to have for a particular piece of art or music or show or video game. And I think this is a prime example. Okay. I think nuts give you free lives. You need 100 of them. Rugged! I love the name of this one because it's just you're just on carpeting. That's the only real difference here. But it's a solid game. I mean, control-wise, it's good. Oh, it's challenging enough. You only get one continue, and I'm pretty sure we'll be using both. Oh, on our little voyage today, because I ain't that good. And this is SNES. It's not impossible, but if you're not paying attention, there's a very good chance you're going to get hurt. There's some bug spray. Oh yeah, the bugs, by the way. Why are there all these bugs? The bugs have actually been mutated in Harley's lab. He was experimenting on them, so this is kind of just desserts for them. But you see on the googly eye there? Don't they look like they'd be on Pee-wee's Playhouse? That's that claymation art that I was talking about. So this is a really cool blend between pixel art in the backgrounds and claymation monster art. I thought that was neat. Oh, come on. I don't know why these... I don't know what kind of monster this guy would be. He sucks, though. I'll tell you that much. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ugh. Now, I do have other weapons here. Right now I'm throwing nails. And maybe I should be throwing marbles. Ugh. In fact, I know I should be. That's probably why I'm getting destroyed here. The marbles work more like... I'm stuck with nails now. Wow, this sucks. I'm gonna try these marbles. Limited ammo. Ugh. Oh, man. I kind of wish they would recognize that they're getting hit a little better. You see it up in the upper right-hand corner there? Fuel. That's for Harley's jetpack. He also has the ability to climb, but it's very hit or miss. Oh, here's bug spray. Yeah, just desserts! Oh, revenge is sweet. God, that feels good. Where's this taking me? Oh, hey, come back here. You see there in the background? It's the Galleon. Never too far from the adventure. Oh, I see a bell up there. See, come on, I've done a platformer or two. What do you think? Am I doing okay, Lauren? Am I doing it justice? She's like, what a noob. God. He's missed like every power-up. Like if I were playing, I'd be on like the 6th World Warp right now. Unbelievable, this guy. What a hack. Alright. Oh, that was like a treasure trove of marbles. Tragic. Ah! Ah! Oh no, there it is! So, how do I get over there? Oh no. Going the long way. Ah! I can't believe I let one of those hit me. That's just sloppy. Try and get this last piece here. And then we'll hit up the booty segment. Whoa, 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 whoa! Okay, almost there. Oh, come on! Why is there a checkpoint right here? What? Checkpoint's like 10 yards away. Alright. How about that music, huh? back. Oh yeah. Save me some guitar later. Save me some of that guitar for later. Those trumpets. Those digital trumpets. Okay. Well, it's been a long week for old Captain Raz. Let me tell you. I'm bad enough. Now I'm playing with 2 sets of glasses. It's been a long week because this is one heck of a lot. And a lot of it I haven't gotten to look at. So that's what makes it a long week, is if I don't get to eyeball this stuff before we run it. Okay? This was all one deal. And it happened in the most unlikely of places, a video game store. Why? Because video game stores are going to make you pay. Right? Not necessarily. Let's talk about our little deal here. I walked in last Thursday, right before our voyage last Thursday, and this guy recognized me. And I don't know why, because, you know, maybe it's the pirate hat, maybe it's the peg leg. Did you guys know I had a peg leg? We'll get into that one day later. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a peg leg. Anyway, good one, Raz. Anyway, this guy's like, hey, I brought in some Atari stuff. How about that, huh? I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. And that's good. I like Atari, but it's very rare that we find like a whole lot of stuff that we don't already have. And that's usually what happens, especially if it's just some dude who shows up and is really enthusiastic about his stuff. That means that A, he probably doesn't know much about video games, and B, he probably thinks his Atari collection is a lot more rare than it is in reality. But they were working on it in the back. He said he brought a whole bunch of games. And I saw them behind the counter pulling them out of this rack. And it was a huge rack that would hold, you know, at least 4 dozen Atari games. And I was like, wow, that thing's cool. It's actually interchangeable. You could tell that they were kind of like Lego pieces. And we've actually had a couple here on the show, but in very small amounts. Maybe 1 or 2 of them together. This was like a big wall. I'm like, wow, that thing's cool. I don't know what they're selling that for, but I'm going to hang around and see what the situation was there. I was also going to hang around to see what the Atari situation's like. So I'm waiting, and you got one girl who's working on the Atari games, and then you got another girl who's pulling out a console that we do not see very often, and she's testing it. And she tests it. She says it's not powering up. There's not much we can do about this. And I've been kind of BSing with this guy who cleans out houses. He's like, oh, I'm bringing in a Magnavox Odyssey pretty soon if you want to buy that, you know, that kind of thing. He's like name dropping on me, you know, and he's not interested in the hobby. He's just there to make money, which is fine. But you know, he's dropping names like he kind of knows when he, in reality, he's far from an expert in this sort of thing. So she tries to power up this console, doesn't work, and he's like, that's too bad. I'm like, oh yeah, that sucks. And he's like, and she's like, yeah, so we can't take this. And he's like, well, I don't know what to do with it. I'm not going to keep it. And he looks at me and he says, do you want it? And I'm like, I would take it. I'm not sure that it's going to work, but if anything, I think it would be a cool piece just to have around. And he's like, sure, dude, no problem. So here you go. Not sure we've ever had one of these on the show. The Sega Master System Model 1. Look at that bad boy. What a beautiful piece of machinery. That red and black. Just gorgeous. You'll notice one of the strangest things is, much like the Model 2 Sega Master System, this had a pause button on the system. And then it also has that reset button far away that I can't reach. And then this here is telling you, like, you know, is the power on? And that was how she knew. She would try and turn on the machine using this button here, and there would be no green light coming up on this little panel here. But what a beautiful piece. You'll notice that there's two controller ports there. But then you'll notice this weird second slot. That's because it says card input there. Believe it or not, the Sega Master System had two different types of cartridges. It had, you know, kind of blocky cartridges that you should just plug in the top. And then it, like a credit card kind of games also. Very strange they did that. I'm not exactly sure why. And the Model 2, they got rid of that second slot. So those games are only playable on this Sega Master System power base converter. And it's got AV plugins in the back. Relatively easy wiring to get a hold of. But he gave me this. Wasn't looking for anything. I was like, cool. And as I'm looking at it, the clerk goes in a little further back to where her little work area was and says, okay, well, here's the rest of it. And I'm like, huh? And this is what she brought out. Oh, there's the bending. There we go. Yeah, it's nice. Always fun to have the bending. Oh! Here we go. She pulled this out. Would you take a look at that? It's the frickin' box. The Sega base system. Now there are no limits. Look at the back. Really, really happy with the back. I think this guy came with two great games. Came with one cartridge, and on the cartridge it had Super Hang-On, a good racing game, motorcycle racing game, and then the totally awesome Astro Warrior. Very good vertical shooter. I mean, did you really need anything more? And on top of it, these old Sega Master Systems even had a built-in game. It wasn't anything elaborate. It was called Snake, I think. I think it was pretty much like... wow, this thing's really blowing out my color correction. I'm going to show you more of it, though. Oh, this thing's falling out the box at the bottom. You got the box there. Unbelievable. I mean, obviously, it's totally ripped up. But if anything, you know, cool poster. I don't know what we're going to do with this. I mean, the system's broken, so we'll probably put it all back together. But they threw all this in. They threw in the controller. Always nice to have another one of these Master System controllers. Not your finest controller in the world, but I like them actually a lot. I like that they're small. They remind me a lot of the Nintendo controller. An actual first-party Sega RF switch, so you can plug her into the back of the TV. And then this I've never seen. The actual RF cord. The actual AC adapter for the Sega Master System. Very interesting design there. This alone was, wow, the fact they're giving this stuff away. These Sega Master Systems, you piecemeal them together. So that was awesome. Very cool. So he gave me that. The other girl was done with the Ataris and said, okay, what do you want to do with this thing? And the other clerk who'd just given me the Master System looks at me, said, and the guy, they both look at me and said, you want that? And I'm like, I sure do. So again, giving us this guy. Here's your cool, dirty, wow, is it filthy, but wow, is it cool Atari case. So all your Atari games, we're going to fit in there. There's a whole bunch of, see that? Places for screws. You just smash that on the back. In fact, it would look pretty cool right there, wouldn't it? It would look kind of cool there. Alright. So that was it, right? I mean, I said, look, can I at least look at the Atari games so I can try and at least put a little money into the store? I did. There were a lot. As you can see there, that thing was filled. Unfortunately, everything he had, as I suspected, was really common. We had all of it. The only game I did end up picking up from the whole lot was another copy of Pitfall 2. They flat rate their games for $1.50, and I will pay $1.50 on Pitfall 2 all day. I think we have like 4 copies of it, and I have no problem with that. It's an excellent game for the system. And if anything, if I do meet another Atari fan, I can give them one of those. So, how are we doing on time? We're 30 minutes in, and we haven't been this heavy in a while. We've got 30 minutes. We'll give another 15 to Harley. So that gives us 9 minutes. Okay, now for the real part of the lot. Okay. So this guy who told me he's cleaning out houses, he sees me going for the Master System that's broken. He sees me going for the empty Atari 2600 case. And that's when he thinks, huh, maybe we got a sucker here. Not that he said it that way. Maybe he thought, maybe we have paid dirt here. And he says, are you in? I got something else. They wouldn't take it. And his son is next to him. His son's carrying a backpack. He says, what do you think about these? His son takes this backpack off his shoulders. Can you hear that? Do you want to guess what that is? Do you have any idea? Let me tell you what it was. It is an entire backpack filled with cartridges for the Texas Instrument home computer, the TI-99. If you grew up when I grew up, you'd have to go home and play Nintendo, but then you'd have to go to school and fiddle around on one of these. Now, I got this a couple years back. We got this for $688.86 in the box. It's in good shape. I'll show it to you. Harley, hold on. There you go. Hang in there, Harley. It says read this first. I mean, it's got everything in it. But I hadn't plugged one of these in or played with one of these in 30 years. So it's always kind of sat in the hold. This is going to be a mess. Okay, let me see if I can get it out of there. Without knocking over the camera or anything. Wow! Wow, you know what I like about this? It's like the DeLorean of computers. You know what I'm saying? Look at this sleek, gray design. How do these feel? Clicky, clicky, clicky. It looks like in the back here, very basic. You've got your power cord. You've got presumably where a joystick might go. That looks like a Sega Genesis joystick. Man, if you could use Sega Genesis controllers with this thing, like the Atari 2600, dude. I don't know if that's true or not, but man, that looks familiar. That looks, I don't know. And then one port there. That looks like for AV. This looks, I don't know. You gotta buy. Here's this thing. So this tells me this is kind of like Atari 2600 technology. So I don't know how hard this thing would be to hook up to, say, a coaxial. But then you have this big empty part here on the side. And what's this for? Well, that's so you can put your cartridges. That's the cartridge slot, okay? Now, I haven't played with one of these in a long time, but I'm going to hope and pray that it's going to be easy enough to plug one of these into a TV, plug the cartridges, and the cartridge starts up. Who knows? I don't know, but I do know that we're sitting on a whole bunch of these games. I don't even know how many. But I saw some of the titles, and I thought it was just too unique to pass up. He's like, what do you want to do on them? I said 20, and I probably should have said 10. Because he took 20, no problem. And he probably would have taken 10 because the store wasn't interested, but I don't know, I certainly felt awkward doing it there in the store, but I had already cleared it with them. I already made it clear to that guy that I don't usually deal in the store, especially not in front of them, and they're like, it's no big deal. He's already gone through us. So, you know, whatever. But let's take a look at the carts, shall we, and see what we have. This is what I've been waiting for all week. I really want to see what games there are. Is this going to just end up being a bunch of stupid math games? I have no idea. We paid $20, and I gotta say, I'm excited just for the backpack. This is the best backpack I own now. I got a convention coming up this weekend. I'm gonna have this on my backpack, no problem. This is way better than any one I have. All right, anyway, let's get to business. You're not interested in clothing, okay? All right, number one. By Funware, we have Henhouse. Okay, somebody keep a tally. Minus Mission. I knew there'd be some math games in here. Yeah, like I said, this was in every school. Okay. Wow. Never seen one of these. My jaw dropped. 1983 by Atari Dig Dug for the N60 or for the TI-99. Look at that design. Wow. You'll notice none of these have box art. Hunt the Wumpus. Okay, not sure what that is. Man, if Oregon Trail's in here. Number Magic. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a mess. I'm not organizing this properly at all. Munchmobile, I believe that was like their Pac-Man clone. Or one of them. Whoa, this is made by SNK. Wow, do you see that? Can you see that? Let me get the autofocus. Wait, where's the autofocus? Is it here? Oh, wake up, you. And this is when I trashed the whole production, trying to get the autofocus up. Alright, never mind. Never mind, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to go through the trouble. Okay. You just have to take my word for it. SNK. Huh. Weird. Okay. Ooh, that sounds good. Tunnels of Doom. Tunnels of Doom, 1981. Wow, these are so cool. Number Magic. Did we already get one of these? We're just going to have to count them when we put them back in the bag. Oh, exciting. Football. Like the colors there. Jungle Hunt. By Atari. I think the autofocus is on. Blasto. Wow. I didn't know Phil Hartman was doing games all the way back then. Alright. That might be cool. That might be a shooter. Music Maker. This is for Biz. Biz loves making music. An antiquated crap like this. MASH! Wow. Who made this? Fox Video Games. They had this on the 2600. I wonder if it's the same game. Okay. Indoor Soccer. Indoor Soccer. I remember Bithead 1000 found one of these once. And he's like, why is this indoor soccer? What makes it indoor soccer? It's a good question. I think he said one day we're going to get a computer. He found like a shoebox of these. No computer. He's like, one day we're going to look this up and find out. He never found the computer. Alpiner. No doubt that's a skiing game. Let me know if I'm putting you to sleep here. Alien Edition. Alien Edition. All right. I'm running out of room here. I'm getting drowned in math games. Dude, there's a lot left in here. Wow. How are we doing on time? I buried the stopwatch. I'm sorry, Prawn. I'm sorry. I didn't. Your whole contracted voyage has been bamboozled by the TI-99. Here it is. Oh. How are we doing on time? Oh my God, we're over. We're over. We gotta go fast. We're 40 minutes in. Did I get that in? Get that over? Yeah, we got 20 minutes left in the show. We gotta go. The Attack Early Reading, Household Budget Management, finally, Blackjack and Poker, whoa, a different label for Household Budget Management. That's the business version. Tombstone City, sounds alright, in the 21st century. Wow, okay. Tombstone City in the 21st century. I'm in. Mei Zing. Gotta be proud of that name. Moon Patrol, sweet. By Atari. I love Moon Patrol. What a great game. Videographics. Videographs. Videographs. Okay. Hopper. That's got to be some sort of Frogger clone, I would guess. Dude, is this not a collection of TI? I mean, wow. And I'm so glad we got the computer. Personal record keeping. What a tease this would be if we couldn't play with personal record keeping. Oh, sweet! By Sega, 1983. Star Trek Strategic Flight Operations? Strategic Operations Simulator. Cool. We got that for the Atari also. Alright. Tax investment record keeping. Dude, I'm so out of room. Munchman. Munchman, I remember that being Texas Instruments, Pac-Man. Another Atari game, Donkey Kong. Killer. Guess that'd be Coleco. Mind Challengers. Mind Challengers. Do we have any Mind Challengers who want to step up and get challenged today? We don't have time for that. Chisholm Trail. Chisholm Trail, I believe, maybe Texas Instruments Oregon Trail clone. That's what I'm thinking that is. That's what I'm thinking that is. Burger Time. Burger Time on Texas Instruments. Wow. That label looks like it's falling off a little bit. Jawbreaker 2. Okay. That was Rose McGowan. Wow, another good Sega game. Congo Bongo. Congo Bongo. That's cool. I hope you're recognizing these. Car Wars. Car Wars. I remember that being an RPG. But that was like a tabletop RPG. Another Atari game, Pole Position. Sweet. Okay. Really surprised by the Atari games here. The Atari games are really what put it over the top for me. TI Invaders. Space Invaders, I would assume. Parsec. Probably my favorite game on the system, even though I've never played the system. Mainly because I've actually gone out of my way to get a copy of this. It's the only cartridge we had before now. It's basically like Gradius or Scramble. It's a horizontal shooter. I always wanted to play it, so, and I think we found one day. Huh. It says nothing about Atari, but it's called Adventure. I wonder what that's all about. Adventure! Is this it? My God. And we can close with... you gotta be kidding me. A second copy of Star Trek Strategic Operations Simulator. Wow. Okay, let's count them up. Let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Oh, God. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Is everyone accounted for? 42 TI-99 games for $20. That's magic. Okay. Let's get back to Harley, shall we? Harley, I'm so sorry. We had a lot to go through. But God, was that fun. Harley, come on over. We'll play some TI-99 together. See if you can beat my score on Parsec, alright? Let's get back to it. It's Harley's humongous adventure for the SNES. Humongous! There's a humongous among us. Alright. Oh, we're in pause. Don't worry, the music's coming. Here we go. And huh! Okay. Oh, it looks like I picked up a new weapon. It's a firecracker. I got about 10 of those. Got a lot of marbles, so we'll be going marbles here. I love that you can shoot up with Harley. You know, this game totally got lost in the mix. And it's not like, this is far from a game that I'm going to be like, did you tried out Harley's Humongous Adventure? I don't think that's ever going to happen, but this is way better than I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be a real pain to play. And it's been kind of fun. Not too bad. Oh! I don't want to go with those. And I would say this is a pretty decent rental. I have a feeling that Lauren, as a kid, probably was able to, you know, rent this and beat it after a couple times, or not, and that's okay. I haven't done it either. Oh, gotcha. But it's not. It doesn't appear to me to be too. Ugh. Got a checkpoint. So the checkpoints are nice. They give you health at a pretty decent pace. Any way out of here? Oh, I see the piece. Did you see it? So we're gonna go around. Oh. Come on, baby. Oh yeah, he does some hip animations. I should let him stand long enough here at some point so you can see how hip Harley is. Because Harley was born in a time when everybody had to be super cool. You know, games were only played by big nerds, so this was the only way we were able to feel like cool guys, was by playing cool guys. So they say, you know, even though Harley's a genius and a scientist, he's also super cool. Don't mistake him for anything less than that. I'm getting a little jeer in the audience here. Oh! Here we go. So yeah, there is a boss. Oh, I just picked up some tacks. There is a rat in the lab, and apparently this is a rat. So we have to use our power-ups in order to hit his feet. Oh no, that was not good. Ah! Oh, I got more tacks. Tacks seem to be pretty effective. Unless you blow it like that. Oh, no! Oh, no! Come on, I took off one of his feet. I just napalm the whole area. Yeah, there we go. Did we get him? Is that it? We did it. We did it. Woo! Okay, ride a big bubble bath. I can't believe we're this far already. How are we doing on time? Alright. I want to try and get... Here's the problem. I got stuck in this part. And it's because you get in the bathtub, and there's a drain that you can swim around in, but you only have so much breath. And I kept drowning. Not only from these guys, but also the air. Now, is there a way to climb? Ah! I had to look in the instruction manual to find that out. So I want to see what else is here. Oh, so here's the soap. So what does this do? Okay. What? Whoa! Hey, buddy! Looks like I'm generating bubbles. And maybe I can use those bubbles to go up. Okay, right. Now where we're headed. Don't pop, whatever you do. Ah! Where is... Oh, no! Alright, give me the soap again. See, this is clever. And the last time I played, I got stuck in this tub, and I couldn't figure out... I kept going down the drain, where there's some power-ups down there, there's a free guy down there. So you would think, for all intents and purposes, you're supposed to go through that drain. Well, eventually, you can't find your way out of it. You keep drowning and drowning. And this, on the other hand, I'm pretty amused by. So maybe if we can reach the ceiling. Oh, man! Oh, I want to go one more. We got time for one more? We got time for one more. I gotta clear the... Alright, here we go. Okay, good. Okay. Up. Lauren is in the stands throwing eggs at me. She's like, what are you doing? What are you, some kind of hack? Ah! Oh, man! That's fun. That is fun. That's platforming for you, you know? A little repetition. There's nothing wrong with that. Because there's always a payoff when you finally get it done right. Alright, one more time. This kind of reminds me of like a reverse Sonic the Hedgehog level. Whenever he'd be underwater. Or Balloon Fight. Another great game with bubbles. Taking it easy this time. Last call for questions. If you have a question, even if you've written it already, I suggest writing it now. That's probably going to be the best way for me to find it. We don't have a lot of time to go into questions, or comments, or jeers. I'm a big boy, I can take it. There's the checkpoint. Oh! Get away from me. Alright. We made it. Okay, let's leave it there. I really like that. I like that a lot. That's pretty good stuff. Thanks, Harley. Thanks, Harley. And thanks, Mr. Prawn. Especially, and Lauren. Mr. Prawn, you're a real romantic for thinking of, your kind lady that way, and Lauren, you have a lot of humility sharing such a game with us. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Let's see. How much time do we have left? Let's check the mess hall here. Let's see if there's any comments you have here. It looks like Lauren here, PrincessRiffRaff, has got some comments on my performance. She says, find some jet fuel, Raz. You're missing all the secret areas. Yeah, I am carrying a jetpack. And it's very hard to find the fuel, but if you do, you can shoot straight up in the air, much like the climbing that I did for just a moment there. She's saying, in response to me talking about the days when she rented this game, she says, rented it several Friday nights, and then my little brother bought it for me for like $9 from Walmart because he liked watching me play it. You know, that's great. Think about those days when there was no Twitch, there was no YouTube. This fascination with watching others play was looked at almost as strange. You know, even today, if you talk to somebody who spends their time watching broadcast television or Netflix, the idea of watching someone play a video game, to many people out there, is still a very alien concept. And, you know, for those of us who grew up with games, we totally get it. We've always gotten it. It's always been just as much fun to watch Harley's Humongous Adventure on the couch with a friend, see them experience it, as it is to do it yourself. I remember, man, I remember having sleepovers and playing a game that I loved and knowing the game, and then having a friend come over and try and figure out a part, and they'd be like, how do I get up there? And I would never say anything. I was notorious for that. Never giving anything away, no spoilers. I would just look at them. And they get so mad, you know, and eventually they'd figure it out on their own. But yeah, that was like sitting there and watching someone else figure out, you know, these coveted areas that I had to struggle through, and that feeling of accomplishment I got when I finally did it, seeing them experience that, that's gold. That I would put that up against any primetime ABC drama any day of the week. All right, enough of my rambling. Thanks a lot for once again, special thanks to Mr. Prawn and Lauren for sharing your memories with us. Thank you out there for taking the time to watch the show, sit in the mess hall, grab yourself a mug of grog, and hang out with me again for another voyage. It means the world. And I can't think of a better way to spend a lazy afternoon outside of the Imagination Institute than here with you. So we'll see you next week. We'll have more adventure, more surprises, and hopefully a laugh or two. Until then, I do to ye Spanish ladies. I do ye ladies of Spain. But we received orders for to sail to Orlando, and we may never see ye fair ladies all gone. Even shrunk down, this stuff's delicious. Keep your powder dry, matey.